Okay, I think we are live everywhere. Welcome everyone to the caregiver question of the week. I tell you what, we're gonna do this quick today, but hopefully well, because I have to leave in about 10 minutes to go pick up my kids from school. So we're gonna make this fast. And if I have to come back and drop in links afterwards, please, after I get my kids and come back, please forgive me. But that said, let's go ahead and get started. So welcome to the caregiver question of the week. Today, we're going to be answering a caregiver question about falling and Parkinson's disease. My name is Amelia. I'm an occupational therapist. I'm also the owner and founder of Higher Standards Caregiver Training and the proud co-founder of Whole Care Network University. That's WCN University. If you're a fan of shortening things. And before we get started, please do keep in mind that this is for educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for health or medical advice and not a substitute for a therapeutic relationship. So if something that I talk about today makes you think that someone needs to be seen or treated by a licensed healthcare provider, then please make sure you're advocating for them to receive that evaluation and treatment, because this is for education. I'm also joined today by Kitty Cat, who's not super happy that I just picked him up off my lap, but you're going to have to get down because I have to get up a little bit for this one. Okay, so this question, general question that came in from someone who has a loved one. Oh, you're just not going to get down, are you? A loved one with Parkinson's disease who's falling. And very broad kind of question, why is my loved one with Parkinson's disease falling all the time? And so let's start by saying that there can be a ton of reasons why people begin to fall, whether they have Parkinson's disease or not. There are literally so many potential reasons why someone might be falling. And often there's more than one thing going on that is contributing to someone falling. So it really is something that needs to be assessed by an appropriate party, by a licensed healthcare provider, like an occupational therapist, like a physical therapist, to figure out what those underlying causes are, and then come up with a individual specific plan for that thing. That said, when it comes to Parkinson's disease, there are some specific things about Parkinson's disease that can make people more likely to fall. Give me just a second here. I just want to make sure that the streams. Okay. All right. So, kind of demonstrate what these things are. Let me go ahead and get up. Sorry, Kit Kat. So, first thing to know is that when someone has Parkinson's disease, one of kind of the underlying issues that comes along with Parkinson's disease is the fact that when someone has Parkinson's, they're not getting good input from their body about the way that they're moving. There's a disconnection between what they're actually doing and what they feel they are doing. So for example, you'll often see someone who has Parkinson's disease might walk with this cat is determined to be part of caregiver question of the week this week. So you might see someone with Parkinson's disease who walks with very small steps, right? That person might be feeling that they are actually taking big steps, but in fact, they're taking really small steps. And so things like that, the fact that they're not necessarily getting good input from their body about how their body is really moving makes people with Parkinson's disease especially susceptible to falling, because part of how we stay upright, part of how we keep our balance, a big part of it actually, is getting accurate sensory information so we know how we're moving and so we can make the right adjustments as we're moving. So that is one big reason why people with Parkinson's disease may be at a higher risk of falling. The second big reason that someone with Parkinson's disease can be at a higher risk of falling, and again, I'm going over two really big reasons, but this is not a comprehensive review of all of the reasons someone with Parkinson's disease might fall. So I definitely like a much deeper dive could take place here. And I really, again, because there are so many things that can go into it, I really recommend that people be individually assessed by an appropriate licensed healthcare provider to figure out what's going on with that person. But that said, the second really big reason that people with Parkinson's disease might be at an increased risk for falling is that they have trouble both starting movement and stopping movement. So let me actually move my walker out of the way here. And let's talk about it with a wheelchair, because this is an easier kind of example to show. So when you have someone who has trouble, let's say, stopping movement, and they go and they stand up from their chair, they then, whereas you and I, when we stand up, we stop our movement when we stand, right? If you don't have Parkinson's disease, you can stop your movement right there when you stand up. But someone with Parkinson's disease might actually have trouble stopping that forward movement and that forward momentum. Same thing for going backwards. They might have trouble stopping that backwards movement or that backwards momentum. And so that places them at an increased risk of falling. Again, understanding that they're falling and all of the things that go into falling is really a complicated set of issues. I'm actually, part of what I was working on for y'all today was an article that really goes over some good questions that you can be asking to help get to the bottom of falls. It's a really good set of questions and answers to go over with healthcare providers as well. So I'm going to be posting that article in the next week here for you. Also keep an eye out for information on the fall prevention series for family caregivers that I've got coming up. I've been really busy getting all that together and planning it for you guys. So make sure you're keeping an eye out, because falls are complex. Falls are extremely risky. They have a serious impact on people's quality of life. And also, falls are something that we can really help to prevent. We can actually make people's fall risk lower if we intervene in the right ways, if we're asking the right questions, if we're doing the right things. So it's something that if you followed me for a long time, you know I'm super passionate about providing education on. Okay, guys, I have to go get my kids, so I'm going to wrap this up. And please, if you have any questions, if you're a caregiver and you have a question about something that's going on, make sure you're submitting it to the Caregiver Question of the Week. I am so delighted to answer these questions that are really coming up in real life for people as best as I possibly can. And if you're asking a question that is outside my scope of knowledge, outside of what I can talk about, I will bring someone on to Caregiver Question of the Week who can help me answer that question for you. Okay, guys, until next time, please stay healthy, stay well, and most of all, take care. Bye.